Check. Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing this evening? Fitness and Futures, good to have you as always. Glad to have you in here. I got a couple names I'm watching, guys, but if you got some ideas or some trades you want to act on, put them in the chat. We can definitely go over them, but I'll let people trickle in, see how many people roll in tonight, and then we'll get started. Mara, definitely. I can, yeah, I can definitely give my chart perspective. I think it's going to be, or probably has influenced, Bitcoin related stuff. Grizzly's the master at that, but I can definitely at least say what the chart is looking like, for sure. Ooh, Google, interesting. Let's see, Mara. But yeah, I'm really liking. Well, we'll see where Spy's at. Um, Microsoft is at an interesting spot. I'm kind of looking at my notes from last week, and I kind of wish I would have acted on the trade suggestion from Sunday. Said short the bounce, and I think that worked. Microsoft, I'm still looking at. AMD, NVIDIA. AMD had a nice day for sure, but yeah, let's give a couple more minutes, see what we got here. But this might be it. Small class, that's all right. More time to go over stuff in detail. Yeah, VK, I will, let's see, create new drawing set. Today's date 10/6. Boom, there we go. So right now, VK, I mean, I'll give it just a couple more minutes, but yeah, we'll chart this, how I would chart it. Yeah, good question. We can definitely do that. Kind of gives, fresh perspective on SPY. That way, no bias or whatever, but for sure. We'll give it one more minute, you guys. Appreciate you guys that are here on time, of course. Ramsey, good to have you. But Google's in a good spot potentially, yeah, for sure. All right, those of you that are here, I think that's all we're gonna get tonight. That's all right, whatever, doesn't bother me. Welcome you guys, Sunday Night Market Scan. My name is StartedWith, one of the support members here. Happy to have you guys here. We're going to start with SPY like we always do, and a little bit different perspective. VK requested, how would I chart this? No lines, fresh perspective. So I think that's a good thing to do. For me, when I'm building a trade plan or looking at something totally new, I will start out with the daily and zoom out and just kind of say, okay, where are we at? You'll see that tonight if someone requests something that is maybe new. We get some names I don't chart very much. It'll be a blank chart, and I'll usually start in the daily and I'll mark out big zones. But VK, so the biggest thing to do, I always throw this name around, or this term, I just say pivot points, or points of inflection, points of movement. So you can see, I'll just get my drawings going. We can see a push up and a big move down, bounce. So I'm looking for these big moves here. I don't, to me, this is consolidation. This is like a range in here. So I'm looking for big zones of movement, when I start to chart out. And so, I always my eyes always go to stuff like that. And so when I go to chart something out, you can start on the daily. The daily is nice. It is a very broad perspective on things. But what I like to do is I like to kind of I'll get a couple levels like this. And so remember when I was saying, look for big areas of key movements, I would definitely probably mark this one. And why did I mark that one? So when I see stuff like a big push up and a little dip down and the big push up right here, and I see this big wick here, that is huge selling pressure right there. I don't care about what the number is. I just mark it and I go off of that. It doesn't mean it has to be, it should be 564. Well, maybe it should be, but I'm going for key levels here. I see a push up here on August 26th, a little rejection, a bounce up, then a huge rejection down. The next day we we close there, do not break out, and then a huge gap down, could have been news, whatever it is. And so again, that's a key inflection point for me. And that's just how I kind of get going here. And I'll grab these wicks here in this area on the daily, but then I like to go to the 1 hour or the 4 hour. So I think for SPY, because I know the price action range we're getting, I'm going to go with the 1 hour, and I'll kind of explain why. And then I'll zoom out a little bit so it makes sense. Hopefully the 1 hour is not too, I might have to do the 4 actually. Yeah. And so now VK and others are watching. I'm on the 1 hour, and same thing. So I'm just looking for big levels of push-ups or rejections, or big levels of bounces. And you can see these two levels that we marked so far, I started out on the daily and they already line up very well, very nicely on the 1 hour. And so, this 566, like I always say, in the chat, like if you see, let's just pretend we open here today, pretend the market's open, we're live trading. If you see me in the chat saying, hey, 566 is big, don't be late to the put party or something like that, that means, you missed this $3 move down and now you're chasing puts into big support, and there's people, hopefully it's not us. I know it happens to everybody, but you never want to just watch this move and then know, or maybe not know, that support's here and go, okay, I'm gonna get some puts now. And then boom, this big bounce up, the rest of the day, and ultimately close pretty much, on another inflection point. So my point is, always have stuff charted out, whether it's with lines, alerts, whatever it is, but always have a plan before you enter a trade, because you never want to dive into something just blindly and, bounce here again. Okay. Bounce in the morning or a sell down in the morning, like, oh, puts again. Oh, you get totally wrecked again. Okay. Third day, third time's a charm, bounce again. So like when you see something 1, 2, 3 days in a row, like this is where you take call, like, yeah, it's a down candle, but calls are on sale. Does that make sense? Calls are on sale. So you take calls here because if we break under, it's a very small stop loss, a stop out, because you have to say, okay, I am just one trader at my house with a little bit of money. I'm following the money where the money bounced the last 3 days in a row. And that's literally what I tell myself when I look for a trade is, hey, we bounced here, rejected here, whatever it is. We bounced here, rejected here. I know my stop out if I'm wrong. In this case, can we get called? Yeah, absolutely. This is where, this is the 1 hour chart. But again, if we're on this day now and you're looking left, you're going, man, look at, like, you guys, when you see bounces, like take a step back, breathe a minute and say, okay, what are we doing here? When I see a bounce like this, these are 1 hour candles. Okay. When I see the bears try and sell it to 566, we'll just call it, and they bounce it up $2 every single time, not just one candle, 2, 3, 4 candles here. That tells me there's big buyers down here at 566, and you should be thinking that too. Okay, like I said, it may be an ugly pre-market sell. That first 1 hour, it opened here, we pushed up, we failed that push up, we sold down, and ultimately closed here. And so that's how candle or the price action of that candle works. But it can look ugly, but you need to look at longer time frames. Like, you will never see me charting or giving analysis on like the 1 minute. Like, you can look at the 1 minute and go, okay, it bounced on 566, but it's like, okay, that's 1 minute. Like, what is a 1 minute candle? That's 1 minute of information. When I look at charts, I'm saying, hey, on the 1 hour, on the 4 hour, whatever it may be, you need to say, okay, 566, that is a big support. And it's a big support until it's not. Like, the market doesn't care if you got November puts at 561. It does not care until we break this zone here. Like, we can't be long-term swing bullish. You know what I mean? Top side, you guys, I'm going to just continue charting this out because I was kind of rambling. I'm definitely grabbing this here. This definitely stands out to me. This high a day on September 19th, 572.89. And we can kind of see that pivot action here. Sell down, selling pressure. Back up, we try and break over, sell down, selling pressure. Break out. And again, when we see us break over these levels, these moves are vicious. They're hard. They move fast. And that's what you want to look for confirmation. If we get the big breakdown under this 566, that the selling pressure it's probably going to trigger a lot of sales, because those are buy orders waiting there. And if those buy orders, if the sellers are outweighing that, that's what's going to make it come down. But right now, there's sellers here that are not strong enough. There's a lot more buyers than sellers. That's all it is. It's just the flow of the market. People want to buy here. People want to sell up here. Okay. And so, top side, we're kind of getting maxed out up here. There's not a lot of information. There's not a lot of volume up here because I believe, yeah, this is all-time highs for us. And so tomorrow, for me, the game plan is simple. Actually, on another chart here, risky business up here. Like, it's a joke, but it's not. Okay. So if you caught this move Friday, that's awesome. Like 568 to, we'll just call it 573. That's a big move. Like, if you bottom tick this candle, like, that's a payday, huge payday. If you catch the bottom of that on calls. And so now, same thing, don't be late to the party. So like, we're coming in this top range here, and it's like an investor or your mom and dad or your grandma, whoever it is, like, nobody wants to buy, granted the S&P is going to keep going up, but nobody wants to buy the top, like whatever stock it is. Like, if it's something making new all-time highs, like, you don't want to buy the top. And so you want to get confirmation here. So we're at the top of this range. I mean, it is fairly, I guess it's $1.50, maybe $2. It's not a big range, but there's, we've spent part of a day up here, big rejection. Part of a day, big rejection. Part of a day, tried to push, sold down, closed right at it. Next day, sliced right through it. Pushed up, big rejection, ultimately recovered. Okay, so now where we're at. Okay, you have to be, or at least my mind thinks, okay, everyone's eager. The market's open Monday morning. It's like, oh, take calls, calls, calls. Maybe we push, maybe not, but I'm not diving into calls here to this top zone. When I see this pre-market action, the first 4-hour candles, every single day that we're up here, September 26th, 27th, October 1st, and then Friday as well. Open, oh, calls, 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 be bullish. It's like, no, big sell. Okay, and so that's kind of my price action. That's what I look at. VK, hopefully that answers your question. That kind of rolls into what I think about SPY right now. I'm on the daily right now, you guys. I'm going back to my default charts. And again, 560 on the daily, that still lines up. And this was not an old chart, but another chart layered. So that 568 is huge, you guys. And I think I delete an alert, actually. I keep an alert there because I want to know. Like this is one thing to you guys where you guys are like, hey man, I missed the move, or it caught me off sides, or I wasn't ready for it. Like, you guys set alerts. If we break this, 568 with volume, like, you better be watching. Like, is there a follow through? And that's when you get bearish. But again, we see the bounces that are happening here. Okay. This dash line is the daily 9 moving average, and the green is the 20. So those are curling underneath us. And if you're a bull this week, you want to see, some breakouts and holds of this level, no doubt. Okay. We don't have to, I guess I'm gonna jump around a little bit, go back to the 1 hour. We don't have to have a perfect trend day necessarily, but for me, if I want continuation, if I want to be bullish, I need to see daily closes over this 568. And so a daily close, you guys, maybe that are new or not understanding. So when the candle closes, so we closed right at it. So I guess technically we closed over it Friday. But I want to see a full body close over. Like, ideally, something like this guy here, like a push up, a bounce to the big 573 area, and then a close over it. Something like that says, hey, we bounced an old resistance, which is now support. And so now, instead of thinking 573 is a resistance, which as for now it is, at least for me, now we treat it as support. So basically, flip your mindset of this candle here, flip it down here. So now if we're playing this price action we want to push up for another leg up, as they say, leg up continuation. But for right now, unless we close over, you guys, we are still in this box. I think I counted 12 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Technically, we're right at the top of the range. And so, when we see consolidation zones, you guys, consolidation zone here, and we finally get the breakdown or breakout, we see continuation. Okay, we see, I'm just going to change this really quick just for what I'm talking about. So the shaded box here, this larger one, why did that do that? This larger box here, sorry, consolidation, breakout, continuation. Okay, consolidation, breakout, continuation. So top range, this move, if it happens, hopefully we get something this week, because right now it's just a day trader's paradise between this range. But it's either breakout, continuation, new all-time highs, or breakdown, we start curling these levels, and I start looking this zone down in here. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Yeah, Norman, let's look at Qs real quick, or not real quick, but I don't spend too much time because I always run long in lectures. QQQ, 484. You guys see me talk about that in the chat a lot. 484 is this magenta line, purple, magenta, whatever. Again, big inflection point, you guys. When we break over, we see the big move under, sell, 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 over, a little bit of a push, sell, over, push, down into it, hard bounce. Okay, down into it, hard bounce. Okay, so for me, I'm on the daily right now. QQQ all-time highs 503. You know, another thing to watch is SPY is at all-time highs or near. Q's is probably not very far, but 3% down. You know, a couple green days, that's nothing. And so QQQ, we got the daily 9 under us. We got a very big level, 484. I think you guys should mark that level. You can see now I'm on the 1 hour, 487.35, 487.35. To me, if we open at or around it, over it, I'm gonna be a bull, try and be a bull. It's Monday, try to look for a trend day. I don't know if we'll trend, but you know, over 47.35. Under that, I know that, you know, if we sell under, you know, you always see my charting. I do this, like I draw stop out zones. So if I take puts, you know, write it down somewhere into this price action here from last week, but you push, you know, you take some puts and we pop over, you pop over. You can even keep it tighter. This Friday price action here, you know, can be your stop out. So you take puts, your price targets are all this price action from Friday, your stop out is small. So again, you guys, your stop is small and your profit zone is big. That's how you win in this market. Keep your losses small. You don't take puts and ride 80% loss, let it come back to break even, and then take 15% profit and cheer and pat yourself on the back. That's bad trading. What you do is take a small 15, 20% loss if it occurs, or you set it, and you ride these puts down. You ride this whole box down here, consolidation. All right. I am going to start going over requested names as I've seen them. Mara, Google, Microsoft, Costco. Those 4 are first, going in order. Mara, of course, crypto, moves with crypto, but let's chart it. Let's get a game plan regardless. Daily 200 is my yellow overhead. Again, my 9 daily is purple and green is 20. And again, immediately, this is kind of nice. I have a fresh chart, no bias. I'm going to slap a line just to get started, and then I'm going to check the weekly to check if there's any big weekly levels, because this stands out to me as an obvious spot of kind of just, you know, pushover rejections. And when I start out, you guys, the ranges, you know, it may not be, you know, why is 1K given a big $2.50 range? I'm going off the daily. I'm going off what I'm seeing, then building a game plan. And most, you know, unless you ask specifically, but most of what I do is just day trade bias or outlook, I guess you could say. You know, I'm just a day trader. I'm not swinging. So unless you say, hey, what do you think about swings on this? I'm going to just give you perspective. So guys, I'm now on the weekly, and look at that. Look how those levels to me make sense on the weekly. Okay. We sell down under that last weekly level, big selling pressure, rejection, big selling pressure. Over, these are weekly candles. Each one of these is a weekly candle. So this is last week's candle. Look at that 1486 zone. It's not exact to the penny, but whoever was asking, I already lost in the chat. Oh, VK again. All right, perfect. So 1486, 1632, 1750. Those 3 should get you going in no time. And now I'm on the 1 hour chart, guys. VK, I'm on the 1 hour. So we got something nice here. Mara, if crypto's bullish, if the market's bullish, Mara's set up for something nice. So what is Mara doing right now? The daily 9 is underneath it. Okay, that's one form of support. The 20 moving average is under it. That's 2 forms of support. 1732, as long as it holds, 3 forms of support. Okay, so for me, again, day trade perspective, I'm looking left, I'm looking, okay, I'm saying where is a bounce spot where I'm willing to hold for a loss, okay? And so when I draw a shaded area, I'm looking at this zone here, but perspective on a bounce, okay? So if we bounce this spot, these zones here, these 1 hour candles, that's how I build my stop loss. And so I'm just gonna continue the shaded area left and see, it kind of makes sense, you guys, because these are computers trading it. Like, see how that candle is closing right at that shaded, the bottom of that shaded area? shaded area, bottom side of the shaded area, selling pressure, shaded area right here. And so for me, VK, what I would want to see on this early morning, or if you're an early morning trader, trade the open, you want to see something like this. You already want to say breakout, retest. You take your calls here, ideally a 16.5 call if you're a day trader taking the weekly, and you want to see this hold, okay? And write it, okay? Obviously, or not, maybe not obviously, but your first price profit target, definitely this Friday zone here. And then you got to look left and just find some zones over here, your recent price action. So you could say, 16.7 probably 17 flat. Don't ignore these pre-market wicks. When you see a big wick on the pre-market, it's not a lot of volume, but that can be dark pool orders. That can be a lot of stuff there. So don't ignore that. And on the flip side, okay, you want to be a bear on it. All you got to do is you move this up and you say, okay, I want to play the breakdown retest. So, but this 9 is probably going to open like this. So that is a form of support. It's a moving average. It's our, daily 9. And so for me, I probably wouldn't play the put bounce and try and play rejection here. That's too tight of a zone. You're playing a 10-cent zone. You have to, you're hoping, you're praying, whatever it is, that this breaks down here. But what I would do is either a pre-market sell or a sell in markets open down underneath the 9. Because look at this daily 9 is going to open here. And where does it also line up with here? That hourly candle there. Okay. So that's why I like playing the hourly candles. You guys, you'll see when I send like an alert or a trade idea, it's alerted around round numbers, 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10, because I'm looking at 30-minute candles, hourly candles, stuff like that. And so to me, this is probably a better trade plan. Let me get out of the drawing mode. I would do something not like that. Damn it. Oh, think your swim. Still learning. I would do something like this. And again, so I'm on a very zoomed in look. So that would be my stop out area. Stop out zone, be on alert, break over for puts. That would be my trade plan on that. Hopefully that makes sense. But that's a big level to watch tomorrow. 1632, because again, the 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, whatever you want to go through. When we get over 1632, we push. We get under, we see selling pressure. So that's how you guys, you can day trade this or build swings. If you bottom tick this on calls and we close up here, you trim, 4 or your 5, that's where you trim and you ride runners, you swing runners. You don't take calls here. You're sitting on a 40% loss. You go, oh shit, I guess I'll swing them, whatever. That's not good trading. Okay. Google. Let's go to daily. I've tried this before. I got nothing on Google. Another fun one. All right. Look in here. Yeah, this one's 69 to 170 buck. I thought I had it charted on something else, but I guess not. All right, so I'm on the daily, guys. I want this first line here. We open, we push, we reject. Why do we reject there? Well, same rejection spot as August 26th, August 22nd, August 20th, August 2nd. You get the point. September 26th. So for me, I would just be in day trade mode. I'm not swinging long Google until we can see how this level still lines up. I would probably, for me, I want to be over this little pocket here. Call it resistance, call it supply, whatever you want. But I want to clear this and get daily closes over. Hopefully that's the answer or the response you want. But the good news is you have the 20 underneath you, you got the 200 underneath you, and you got the 9 coming up. So ideally, in a perfect world, the 9 is going to come up here and we might see some consolidation. And so that's where you look, maybe this week, maybe get a breakout. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we just blast through. That's fine. Over 170, get long, stay long. But when I see, stuff like this around this pocket here, I try not to have bias, but it's like you can't ignore, recent price action here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, bulls failed to break out and ultimately gave up, sold down. So now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4 days trying to break higher, not getting it. Okay. There's some big bounces here. There's some wicks, no doubt. I think we should mark those just so I don't sound too bearish on it. And then we'll zoom in and take a look what we got. Yeah, probably 167. Nice round number. All right, let's go to the 1 hour, see what we got. So on the 1 hour, I'm kind of seeing, or I am seeing, bullish trend, no doubt, but top level zone that we got to be cautious of. So, we're making lower highs consistently, yes, but higher highs now, not so much. And so that's where you got to just zoom out and say, okay, I keep trying to play the breakout. It keeps getting rejected. Why is it rejecting? Zoom out, figure out where the hell we're at, and just build a plan. Again, the market doesn't care if you got November 171s that you want to go in the money and ride it. Does not matter. Play the chart, play what it gives you. For me, what we're looking at on SPY was our example. Those bounce zones, 167 bounces, play those bounces until it fails you. Play 167 bounces. You can get there, get the 167 call because you're a whole dollar away, unless they got a half strike. Or, we want to see, for me, tomorrow, Monday, I want to see an open over Friday's close. That's your first chance at support. And then you want to see a push, and you better trim here. Doesn't matter if you're 80% profits or 15 or 12, because big rejection zone approaching, big rejection. Okay. And this isn't like price action from a year ago. This is just last week. So this is sellers that you got to expect. There's probably sellers still parked here. Okay. Do not watch this go up and go, okay, oh, I'm getting calls now. Okay, I'll write it out. I'll see if I get profit. I'll write it out. Okay, he said, wait, he said, watch Friday's close. I'll write it out. Oh. And now you're like, okay, now I'm going to cut my calls. No, you don't do that. You buy the bounces at support, or you can take puts here cautiously, because if you break over probably this Friday high zone, that's your stop out. You don't want to chase calls late. You don't want to chase puts late. And for right now, Google, hopefully it's the answer you want to see or hear. It's a range. It's a range until it's not, because this is a very important spot here. But it's $3.50. So if you catch this, even with SPY, a lot of names, you guys, we just been kind of in day trade mode. Maybe you guys have caught some 2 or 3 day swings on some other stuff, but for the most part, big tech, it's like we're just in day trading mode until stuff breaks out or breaks down. That's all I'm doing. I'm trying to be super picky with the ideas and alerts I give in my tab, small report stuff, but I'm not swinging anything. Some people are swinging my ideas. That's fine. But it's like, I'm just day trading stuff because we're just in a range, like it or not. That's where we're at. Big money. I guess I can kind of, this is SPY. I like to look at GEX, which is gamma exposure, just to kind of see where things are positioned. A little bit of a sidetracked here. So we have some downside positioning tomorrow. Does it mean it has to hold? We're going to see where that open interest opens up. But, we have some spikes on the lower levels. But again, this doesn't matter until, what was that, 566 or 568 breaks, because we still have volume. This is people still thinking, hey, we're going to 580 on SPY. And so, look at this shift from the 8th. We probably got some data 8th to the 9th. Is that's probably CPI. So there's some bets here that, whether these are hedges or not, there's some people that want that 580 this week. And so I always just kind of keep an eye on this to kind of see where dealers are positioned, but that's kind of another conversation for another lecture. But again, it's very spread out. It's very sporadic. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. I don't remember if that was on Google. Well, that's fitness. Nice. Yeah. We DM a lot, fitness and futures. So just, if that didn't answer your question, let me know, and I'll definitely help you on Google. For me, day trade mode for sure. Ramsey says Microsoft. Ramsey, this one I like. Well, hopefully I like it what you do. To do 4 hour daily. I wonder, why are my charts not saving? Interesting. Okay. I'm on Microsoft Daily. Where was last Sunday? Friday, Thursday. I think I had this, not bragging, but I think I had the short the bounce zone here, and it played out, but I didn't play it. That big zone there. I think we're talking about 430, 431. Anyway, all right. Ramsey, I'm on the daily right now, Microsoft. Look where Microsoft stopped the last 2 days. Why did it stop there? I don't know why did it stop there. It's not an accident. This is the daily 200. Daily 200 moving average. Okay. You're like, oh man, that stopped right on it. Yeah, those computers are smart, you guys. Not only did it stop on, a moving average, it stopped on, probably some pretty good support here. We'll figure that out in a second. But always, always, always zoom out, you guys, and figure out where you're at on the charts, where you're at, why is stuff bouncing? I'm trying to be in puts. Why is stuff, selling? I'm trying to be in calls, whatever it is. But let's see how much that lines up. Yeah, I like that. I like that for a one-line chart or one-line chart. 416.34 Ramsey, and looking left. We can see it doesn't always tag it, but we can see price action gravitates over it. What happens under it? What happens? So, not the best day. I mean, not the best week, actually, I guess you could say. That was Monday, pop up, close, gap down, selling pressure all day. Small gap up, selling pressure all day. Tiny gap up, sell pressure all day. And again, tiny gap up. So bounces are not holding, or excuse me, breakouts are not holding, but this 416.34 is okay. Big spot here. So to me, I'm not saying dive into calls tomorrow morning, and I'm over on the West Coast. I'm not saying Bargome's at 6 o'clock or 6:30, excuse me. I'm not saying take calls the first 5-minute candle, but what I am saying is watch this level here. Okay, 416.34. Buyers are not winning, lower highs, but sellers, they're getting selling through, but there's no follow through. So right now, this is a big spot. And when one of them gives up, the move's going to be big. And so if let's just say we're bearish next week, okay, you got the 200 underneath you, and we just gave up a big level. That's where you get short. Hold your puts with confidence. Obviously, don't ignore this price action last week, but just know the zone that we're at. We push over. We got some really nice levels to work off of here. I'm for sure. So these are 1-hour candles again, you guys. Push up. Push up, breakdown, retest. Say we bottom snipe calls. Say flips is like, hey, I'm in calls here. I'm getting 417 calls. You look left immediately. So, okay, how do we figure out where to sell? I'm looking at the bottom of these 1-hour candles here. These wicks here. Definitely. PT1, price target 1. Probably like 417.5. And again, into this 418 round number, 418.3, we see this price action here. I mean, obvious question. What happens when we get to 418.3? Well, when we push under it, what happens? Hard rejections, hard rejections, hard rejections. Attempted breakout, hard rejections. Attempted breakout, hard rejection. Okay, so again, it's a range, you guys. I know it's not like a broken record, but day trade this range. It would pay nice. If you get a 417, you go in the money, take it all the way 418. That's a nice payday. Okay, we push up. 1K says 418 is a big level. You take puts, ride those puts down until it stops you out. Okay, very nice range here on Microsoft to play off of. Hopefully that's what you want to hear. But it's has been giving away money last week. Yeah, 418, big level. And again, if we get a breakout, fine, ride that train on a breakout, because we look Friday's high here. We start looking at these levels here, and then now we got the daily 9 overhead. That's big picture. That might be a multi-day move. But again, the beauty, you guys, of options traders, we can play puts or calls. It does not matter. your Roth IRA, you're only making money going up unless you're hedged. And so definitely some stuff to look at. Ramsey, start doing voice chat every day for smaller ports. Man, I'm trying, Ramsey. I don't know, man. I don't know if anyone's listening. Doesn't really bother me if anyone's listening small port. I mean, obviously I want people to catch on, but my 2 second spiel on smaller port stuff, small movers. It's like, I can take SPX and get, $1,000 entry and make 30%. It's risky, but I can get it. Or I can put $1,000 in one of these slower mover ones and have it take, 30 minutes. For me, it's a sidetrack. I don't like scalping just because of the stress and you just got to like watch every candle. Like for me, I would rather look at something and go, okay, not this, but like I would rather look at something slower moving and go, okay, it's a big level here, and we're building a flag or some sort. I would rather let something just slowly move into profits, and I can go, okay, price target 1, 2, 3, boom. Like to me, that's fun. To me, that's trading. Everyone's different, but I just choose a slower, safer way of trading, of getting my 20-30% a day on an entry. Hypothetically, they don't always win, but that's fine. If you guys like SPX, SPY, Qs, Microsoft, whatever, that's fine. But I just choose to do a lower risk way of doing it. And if people pay attention to the tab or small port tab, whatever, that's fine. It's not for everybody. Like I don't expect people to change their mindset and their trading style just because I think it should, people should be doing it. But if you're trading SPX day after day, getting your ass handed to you, you're trading on your own, then you got to look in the mirror and be like, why am I doing this day after day and it's not working? But all right, that's my spiel. Costco, I think they're coming. Oh, I don't need to spell it out. Coming off some earnings, right? Was that last week or a week and a half ago? All right, what do we got here? Costco, who asked about that? iPhone, don't know who you are, but iPhone, are we riding this trend up or are we shorting this? What are we doing here? Because I'm seeing get this breakout here, hopefully. There's my zoom, wasn't working. So no buys here. I'm getting some bottom wick supports for sure on the daily time frame right now, guys. Definitely want to grab this one here. Pretty much 891. 891, big spot there. So I don't want to spend too much time on support and resistance because we're running long, but 891, we see that reaction back in July. Over, we push up under, huge sell. It's no accident where we open, where we bounce, where we reject, but pretty much 874, iPhone 874 is, it's your floor, it's your support, it's your last chance support until it's not. Doesn't matter if you want to be bearish on this and just get this whole move down. This is a big ass support until it's not. We've held this support 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm not going to count that out since August 21st. So however many days that is here, you guys. Big picture, 874 is a support. It's where buyers, it's where shareholders want to buy shares until they don't. Okay, so something to look at. Rounding top on it so far, but support. And so for me, I want to play the breakouts. I want to play the pushes up until got something coming up here. So we got what's that purple line? That's my daily 9, you guys. That's my moving average. Okay. And so you see these bounces on the moving averages, you see the rejections on moving averages, you see the bounces. Okay, this moving average is a form of support. It's just moving, it's a line, but it is support, or excuse me, it is resistance because it's overhead until it's not. So this, depending on where we open tomorrow, say we open at 884, that daily 9, you better be checking on the daily if you're a bull on this. If we move into this 887, 888 area, that's going to be resistance. Okay, so don't be late. Don't watch this push up for 2 or 3 hours and go, okay, now I want calls, and then go, okay, now it's rejecting, rejection. Why is it rejecting? Okay, don't be late to this. So for me, big spot here again, not an accident where it closed. Like it's computers, it's algos. They closed it right there at a big level, and so tomorrow we could see some chop, we could see some range, but to me, let's zoom in now. Same thing, same outlook, same thesis, a zoomed in look. We closed right there. So you want to see a breakout and a retest, and you want that retest to hold. Okay. Or we open pre-market. What is my mind already thinking? We failed last week to break over this. So why are we going to break over it today or tomorrow? Maybe we do, and that's fine. But for me, if we see some pre-market action down here, I'm shorting this. I'm taking the 883 because a 40-cent move down, I'm already in profit. And I have all this price action here to play with to get my profit targets. Okay. If we push up and over, that's fine. But play the levels, what's in front of you guys. Don't, we say don't have bias, but obviously when you build a trade plan, you have bias, but play what the chart gives you is what I'm trying to say is, so, if we break over, this was resistance. It is now support until it breaks through. Okay. If we keep rejecting, that is still resistance. This is still support down here until it breaks under. Okay. So, very nice. That's a $10 range, you guys, $10 range. Now I'm on the 1 hour chart. So if I were to zoom in, I don't play Costco a lot, but a $10 range, there's a lot of options here for entries. Okay. Like lots of entries. You can play this early last week top zone here. You could have played this. Obviously it's in hindsight, I can say this, but you can play this top zone rejection. You mark this out, you set alerts and go, okay, let's pretend this was Monday. Okay, now Tuesday, we're pushing up. I'm selling my calls here. I'm getting short here. Okay. Or you bottom tick, like I said, guess what? You better be selling your calls up here, and you can flip bias. Take your puts, write it down. We are day traders, you guys. Unless you're an investor, you're in leaps, like just day trade what it gives you. Who cares? If we're making money, who cares? All right. Costco. S cases, KO. Nice. I want to go over KO. There's a whale in KO. That's a big buyer. As long as they're still holding, they're in profit. They're in puts. They got in puts somewhere around the 26th or 27th. They got the 71 and the 70 puts, I think, for November. We can check here. Sorry, I'm looking at Joe's comments from Discord. 1 second. Oh, they were. Joe says some interesting flow over these low IV contracts. KO 71 put. Oh, sorry. October 25th. They got the 70 and 71 puts. And he said that on the 26th. So this day here. No doubt they've seen some red. I would have to check the open interest, see if they got stopped out or sold. But if they held, they had a nice 3 gap down day and they're in profit. KO, I'm on the daily. SK, let me know in the chat. You just want to outlook on this, or are you looking to get something on this? Let's see. Definitely need to be looking at this wick here. Didn't quite get it. Let's just pretend it did, just for sake of the lecture. Okay. Gap down, sell down, hard bounce, closed higher than it opened. Okay. Why did it bounce? Well, look left. Look at that wick there. Still a lot of volume there. There's still buyers there. Okay. KO is nice. I was watching this one. I didn't have the guts to follow the flow. Maybe I should have, obviously, in hindsight, but definitely had a nice consolidation zone up here. And again, remember I was talking about SPY, Microsoft, pretty much everything, you guys. Remember, consolidation, continuation. So now we're talking about KO. So this is not a big zone. This is a dollar range, whatever, $1.10. So consolidation, continuation. The move is big. When it breaks out or breaks down, the move is big. And so that's what we try and do, as traders, if you want to find those swings or whatever. But when we break these zones, get short, stay short, obviously in hindsight. But again, KO's a nice one. So now a little bit tough because my Webull chart's a little bit better on KO. But for now, SK on a larger time frame, 70.55 is your ceiling, and 69.67. We can zoom in a little bit more and get some more price action. But again, actually, I think this is all-time highs. So let me make sure before I tell a lie. Yes, this is all-time highs. So interesting thing here. There's not a ton of volume up here. There's volume, but not a lot. So for me, until I see this stop, stairs down, until I either hit this or I see reversal, I'm thinking, okay, well, why would we not leg down tomorrow? Maybe we don't, but you have to start thinking, I could have continued this for 5 days. Like, obviously, in hindsight, man, you short the top zone, that top supply, like that's a beautiful swing. In hindsight, of course, I wasn't in it, but for me, I'm definitely, 70.55 is a ceiling. Failed breakout on Thursday, Friday, not even a chance. Okay, so sellers are parked here until they're not. And again, it's going to line up with this price action from the 20th of September, 13th September, 12th, and then this big move here. I don't know if this was news, but that was maybe just a bullish day. But so you can see August 21st and the 26th. We spent what, 3 or 4 days here? This is all-time highs, sell down, push up, sneak into all-time highs, gap up, new all-time. So there's not a lot of information here. There's not a lot of volume, okay? Break over. So my point is, when it sells through here, there's not a lot of volume. So if there's a lot of sellers, that's why you see these big moves, these fast moves, because there's not a lot of information here versus bounces here, multi-days of consolidation up here. And so, I want to see this zone here hit somewhere down in here. And I would definitely try a call bounce, with confidence, but respect your stop out. If it doesn't bounce, that's fine. But again, if this bounce holds, we got a couple things going on here. Not only are we going to form a higher low, we probably broke out of this downtrend. Okay, so if you're not good charting, you don't have anything charted, and you take puts here at support, and we bounce hard, and it's like, well, you want it to go down. Well, it's not going to, or it doesn't have to. This is a big level support here, big spot here. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. KO's a nice one. I'm glad that got brought up. Definitely. Outlook. I chart this daily. I've never taken a trade, but saw you mentioned it in your live classes. Yep. KO's a nice one. It's a slower mover. So again, you guys, I can do this. You're like, oh, that's a big move. Well, $69.67. This is, let's just call it $1 for around, rounding. Like, this is $1. Okay. Like on SPY, sometimes you're like, oh, that's $5 or $6 range. This is $1. And so when you take SK, when you take calls here, these setups on these slower movers, that's why, like, whether you guys realize it or not, like, that's why I don't alert like 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, because like these slower movers are really hard to time. You have to be patient. You have to set alerts, and you have to wait. And then, okay, when we bounce to support, okay, we bounce to support. Cool. Now what? Now you got to pick a strike. Okay. The weekly 70 strike, you got to pay attention to volume. You got to pay attention to open interest, because, SPY, you can theoretically speaking, if you buy close to the money SPY, you're fine. Plenty of open interest, plenty of volume on the dailies, weeklies, monthlies, whatever it is. But KO, you got to check this open interest tomorrow. So you got to look at it, the 70 strike. If there's 2 volume on the day, you got to be careful, because if you sell in the profit and no one else is getting in with you, who's going to buy those contracts from you? Okay. And on the flip side, if we're trickling down here at 69.67, and I have no idea what your port size is, but say you look at this, the weekly 70, and It's not going to be 200 bucks, but hypothetically it is. You know, like, oh, that's too much money. I'm just going to get a 73 call. That makes no sense because you're looking for a $1 move to your profit target, your price target, but you're in a strike price that's $3 out of the money. And say, hypothetically, say I alert this tomorrow, 70 call, and then you get the 73. I'm like, hey guys, trim here for 40%, trim here guys for 60%. And you message me, you're like, hey, I'm only up 18%. It moved huge. Well, you got a bad strike. So option Greeks matter, you guys. And so strike price, especially on these slower movers, it's not a slower moving option or lecture class, but the strike price has to make sense. Okay. Oh man, I'm way behind. Kyle, that was Costco, right? Bullish, 875 November expiration. Costco, yeah. Hopefully get that breakout. VK, I tried following your trades. Let me know in the chat. We're running late, or in DMs too, if you got a question about that. Bit weird to follow, especially how to enter. I mean, I try and just do. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that. Oops, can't do that. So when I say something, if I'm looking to be bearish on something, my stop out VK is always a shaded area. Okay, so if I'm saying, I'm looking to get weakness in here, and if you read, I always say like my profit targets are listed in the alerts. So my alerts are always listed, or my profit targets are always says alerts. My stop out, if we're in puts, is always a break over the zone. You guys choose where to stop out. That's where I'm stopping out. Or if I'm calls, this isn't a bullish play, but if it was, if we dip down under a shaded area, that's my stop out. I don't know if that helps or not, but send me a DM, man, or woman, whoever you are, and I can help explain it. Hopefully that makes sense. Norvin, hopefully I'm not skipping. He wants Shop. Shop had a breakout day. Shop's a good one. I remember last week we talked about Shop, I think. And I said 80 is the zone to watch. 80 is this zone here. And look what we did. So consolidation, sound like a broken record. Consolidation, continuation. What do we have? Consolidation. I'm on the 30-minute chart, guys, in a big breakout. Okay. So 80, when you're under it, that is resistance until it's not. And guess what? Sellers gave up, and what happened? Big move, big explosion move. That's what you try in time when you get these key levels, okay? Same thing, flip side, under the 78.25, when buyers give up there, if and when, big move will come. But until then, we're in a consolidation box along with SPY, and then Shop finally got its breakout. So I'll trade this in a bit. Let's figure out where we're at. Close at 82, basically. So this is highs from March. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Haven't been here since March, so get some quick levels. Are you in this, Norman, or you just want us to look at it? Let me know. Very nice top zone range here. So this goes back. This is 2 years ago. This is the price action here all the way on the left, you guys, from January. Okay, so I got some top zone here. I don't care about this up here because we're not even close to there yet. Okay, so top zone 83.40 basically, mid zone 81.51, and our floor is 80. Okay, and we're back here, and look at it, still makes sense. Okay, so for me, if we get a breakout continuation, you have two options tomorrow. Hypothetically tomorrow, say we hold somewhere over here, you can take your calls dip at Friday close, or if we're over that, you take your calls dip at Friday high, or if we open somewhere underneath it, you know where I'm going. Where do we take our calls? Try right here. Okay, you don't dive in. This is now support, or still is support. We broke through it, on a 4-hour candle with no sweat. And so 81.51 is support until it's not. That gives way, fine. Take it to a profit target here. Take it to here. Take it down to here. But very nice spot potentially on shop tomorrow or this week, you guys. Hopefully you're marking these levels and not just watching, or you got the football game on, not paying attention. But 83.40, 81.51, and 80 flat. Looking here this week, 81 calls look good. Yeah, they do, Norman. What was that we said? 81 looks better for calls. Yeah, I can agree with that. Because if we kind of take, again, and you guys, when you enter a trade, you cannot freak out and go, oh, I sold for an 8% loss. It's like, okay, well, support was 10 cents away, you know? So I'm totally making up a number here. If you enter some calls here and stop loss is hypothetically 12%, but it's a support here. Like, you cannot stop out just because you got red and you got scared. Like, that's not good trading. And so you guys have to enter where it makes sense. You have to stop out where it makes sense. If you enter here and we trickle down into here, that's fine. You got to be able to stomach a little bit of red. Okay. Like, you have to look at it and go, okay, look where this 4-hour closed. Look where this 4-hour closed. Look where this wick closed. Okay. Again, it's not an accident, you guys. So either you can trickle in, like, say your position size is $1,000. Okay. And you enter 2 calls for $400, half position. You can look at this and go, we're holding opening range low. 1K says 81's a big support. Norman says it's a big support. Okay. You can get the rest of your calls in here and you scale in. You ride the bounce, and now you're over break even because you averaged in. And now we push up. Obviously, it's pre-market, but you get my point. We push up, and now you ride it. Okay. But you scale in your inner, and we break below what I would say your last chance support, then just stop out and take a small stop out. Or if we open here pre-market, you take your call shot there. Okay. Because 81 is a round number, and it's also support. Your risk, keep it small, keep your losses small. Like, you don't sell 85% loss and then take 13% profit. You're never going to get ahead doing that. And so make it make sense on your entries. All right. I want to go over a couple small part stuff, guys. We're running late. If you guys got to dip out, that's fine. It's 6 o'clock my time. No big deal. I want to go over PayPal and Walmart. I think PayPal is more important. Walmart is more of a top zone supply rejection, but it's more of not a bias, just something to keep watch. But PayPal, I've already got an alert set. If we break below this zone here, this zone's been fun. When the breakout comes, it comes very quick. There we go. Manu, I knew you're in here, brother. 79, big spot. I mean, 79.07, for whatever reason, I have that one marked. 78.48 is a huge one. And I usually make them a little bit thicker. So when I see them on my chart, like zoomed in, I don't have to think. I know, like, hey, that's a big ass support. Don't buy puts here, dummy. PayPal had a very nice day. I feel like I didn't watch all day, and then I looked and it's like, shit, man, PayPal's having a good day. So for me, let's go to the daily, just see where we're at. Very nice chart, very nice uptrend. No doubt we got the 9. Like, look at where we gapped up. I just noticed that. Look where we gapped up and opened. Right at the daily 9. Again, broken record. Not a mistake, you guys. So very nice zone, not really flagging, but nice pocket here for a breakout. But, I'm just going to color this so we can not, lose track of what we're at in the charts. So we're on the daily. Oh, I think I got to go back a lot. I think this is a big breakout spot. So as I always say, don't be late to the party. Let's just pay attention where this lines up. Hopefully I don't go back too far. There we go. So we have not been here, and you already know where I'm at. Going with this with my lectures. February to March of 2023. Okay. Step 1 of my bias. If I buy shares 18 months ago and I'm deep red and I'm deep red, I'm deep red, I'm really red down here, really red down here, I'm red, I'm red, I'm red, I'm red, I'm red, you get the point. What do I do here when I get to break even on my shares? Say I've had $20,000 in shares tied up. I didn't sell at a huge loss. Now I'm break even. What am I doing? I'm probably getting out at 79 zone as a relief. Okay. Can we go higher? Yes. But my first instinct on PayPal is, as an investor, is do we get consolidation up here? Okay. So do we form what was supply? Do we form a little bit of demand now? Do we flip resistance, and is this now support here? Oops, don't do that. Don't want to do that. Okay. So my first instinct on PayPal this week is, does this hold this week? Okay. I'm on the daily still. Yes. So obviously you guys seen big zone here. We have it back here. You know, if you're an investor, yeah, let's roll. Let's go to 83. Let's go to 84. But again, let's look at some price action here. I want to see this hold here. Okay. And again, we're option traders. We should not have bias unless you got leaps that are not hedged or something like that. But again, 79, cautiously buy dips. Better spot for me, 78.48, buy the dip. But again, a gap down, lots of market selling pressure, whatever it is. We slice through this and we bounce and reject hard. I'm short at 78.48, no doubt. Because I know that recent price action, I know this pocket here, I know this zone here, this supply, this resistance, I know recent price action, what it does. I know what it does when it rejects, when it doesn't get there, okay? And so, you know, again, the market doesn't care if you want to be long here and it just doesn't work out. So again, very nice pocket here, basically a 50-cent pocket to play with. But again, as long as we hold this zone here in this pocket, you know, we got the daily 9 now underneath this and close. That's going to be a third form of support. So 1, 2, 3. You know, I'm long on PayPal, but caution. Okay, I'm not chasing breakouts. I want to see confirmed breakouts. I would rather play the push up and retest. But again, if it goes, let it go. Don't fight it. But again, I don't have a bunch of levels up here just for speed of the class. We got to look back 18 months to get profit targets, price targets. Okay, and so PayPal, I want to point out, I'm glad, I think someone else mentioned it, but, you know, I don't think Tilly and other people like it long-term as investment, but, you know, play the chart. If it's bullish, get this high from 2 weeks ago, you know, go get it. But again, just something to watch, an old zone there. If it rolls over, what I'm going to get into Walmart in a second, if it go, you know, top range, top zone rollover, that's where, you know, only if, you know, we're getting a lot of market selling pressure, that's where I can take some swing puts, because I know, hey, even when SPY was pushing, PayPal failed breakouts, okay? And now, oh wait, markets are really weak and PayPal selling under this zone here. Yeah, I'm getting short, okay? Walmart, I'm not saying I'm ready to get short on it, but you know, I'm taking note of stuff. This is all-time highs for Walmart. Can it go more? Yeah, we've seen some bullish flow that Tilio has shared, but I'm also seeing some failed breakouts. So we have some lower highs. Did I say right? Or higher lows, excuse me, higher lows. But now last week, you know, we failed to break this top range. And so I'm not saying get short or swing short, but it's just something to watch. And you can see I have an alert already set. So kind of a pivot area, kind of a pivot zone, that 80, 25, you know, if SPY keeps pushing and Walmart is just doing this, and all of a sudden we get war news or inflation news or whatever, and Walmart breaks this 80, it's like, yeah, I'm getting short because I already had a plan. I know this zone broke down. You know, I know there's a lot of volume up here. And so once that volume gives way, that's where you can get short. Okay. Or flip side, consolidation, and now finally, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, we get the breakout, play the breakout, retest, that's fine. But this is all-time highs up here on Walmart. Again, if you're buying shares of Walmart, it's like, well, I don't want to buy the top. No, you buy the top. Nobody wants to buy the top. So get the confirmed breakout, you guys, and then you got to use some Fibonacci's. And so same thing, a bit of just consolidation top zone here. Something I'm keeping an eye on, I guess, so there's not too much bias. I'll put a top side alert. But when something's all-time highs, like, I don't want to chase it. It can go more, but I like trading when I have a zone to play with, not a new zone. T, hopefully River's not in here. They'll say get long, stay long. T's up, top zone as well. It's got, a little bit of a rounding top, failed breakout, some lower highs forming, the daily 9 here and the daily 20 here. And so for me, again, I'm not just saying go short, get short, but it's like I'm watching to see if this zone here holds. T is really tricky too. You got to get the contract to make sense. You got to get the strike to make sense. Just kind of something top zone I would just point out here. Let's see. 1K, would you sell the AMD news this week or go long on NVIDIA? Shit, damn it, we didn't talk about that, did we? Thank you for bringing that up. AMD and NVIDIA. We're going long on a lecture, but I don't care. AMD, nice breakout. Norman, let me know in the chat. Does AMD have like an event I'm not aware of? I'll try and talk about this as you type maybe. AMD, big ass breakout, you guys. I'm on the 4-hour. So AMD, very interesting. Very, very strong breakout. Very, very strong breakout. Why is it a strong breakout? Well, it was a big day, no doubt, but I'll zoom in, hopefully, if you guys are on your phone or something, but let me show you here. We've got a line here. Let's just call it 170 or 169.50, whatever. Big breakout, big 4-hour close over. Why does that matter? Why is that important? Look at that top zone rejection. May 16th through July. I mean, what is that? 3 months, 2 months? Big consolidation zone there. Sellers are parked, bears are parked there, whatever you want to call it, parked and have been parked there. And now we broke over. Okay. So what was a big ass resistance is and should be treated as support now. So 169.53. Look at those wicks, you guys. Hopefully I zoom in, you can see it, but this is back in May of this year. Okay. Big spot there. That's an important breakout. Okay. Let's go to the daily. I'm on AMD again, you guys. Why it makes sense. Closed over it. So what do we want to do? You guys already know. It's an obvious answer. Breakout retest. In a perfect world, AMD, easy. Well, hypothetically, trickle down. You play that bounce with confidence. Your stop is under this wick here, this Friday wick. But ideally, we get some more juice on AMD. I like AMD a lot. As long as markets are running, as long as chips look good, AMD looks good in my eyes. And I'm sure NVIDIA probably looks the same. But yeah, I would point that one out quickly. AMD event Thursday. I'm not sure, guys. I don't know if it's a sell the news event. And for you guys that don't know, sell the news event is when the stock runs up to the event, which is probably that question. No, that's 1029. Well, it's this week. But anyway, they said in the chat, AMD event Thursday. So a sell the news event is when it would be like, hypothetically, it'd be this here. It'd be pump for 4, 5, 6 days into the event, and then they announce something, and then they sell down, and they capture everybody that's late to the party. And so that's a sell news event. I don't know what the event is. I don't know what AMD usually does. All I know is that big 170 zone is very nice. Ideally, I want to see another continuation, another daily close over it. But you can see just based on a 2-line chart, we break over and we're running because we got a support level under us. We got 3 moving averages, 3 different ones underneath us. And you guys, when you start seeing this, how do you catch swings? How do you catch swings? When you see this and it goes like this, like, well, how did I not see that? When you see the moving averages curl underneath in your 9, in your 20, this is 3 forms of support underneath you. Okay. So like when you see this trend here, look at those moving averages bounces every single time they're holding it. So when those curl under, you guys, I know that's messy. That's how you catch those swings. If market looks good, like it wants to leg up, like SPY wants to get all-time high, AMD's holding 170, that's where you get those November swings when the strike makes sense. Don't get, October, 25th, AMD 200. Yeah, that can pay if that's not a very good strike. You're 20 bucks out of money. But that's how you catch those swings, you guys. All right, one last one, you guys. Exxon Mobil energy sector. Oh, baby. Look at that breakout. Let's see where the music stopped. Let's see if that means anything. Hit that night. I think it was XLE last week. That was a nice one. Is that all-time highs? I don't think so. Is it? Weekly? Sorry, guys. I think that's all-time highs. All right. Well, all-time highs then. We got a big weekly candle. Can't deny that. I believe it's all-time highs. Someone correct me if it's not, but how would I trade this? Breakout continuation, same thing, same story, breakout continuation of this. Or if the sector and the name looks weak, safely get short here. Why get short there? Well, it's an uptrend, yes, but this is uncharted territory up here. Never been up here, I think I'm correct. So, let me get a drink real quick. We break down, push up, smack down, push up, smack down. Intraday, what is that? That's a double top. It's not a double top anywhere. It's a double top at this zone here. And we look at Friday's price action. So when you guys build a plan, you want to see, or at least when I get into something like this, I'm like, oh, okay, I want to get bearish on this. Why do I want to get bearish? So if I see failed breakouts and rejections here, I expect and I want to see follow through candles like this. It's an hourly candle. So an hour of selling pressure down, sell through, an hour of selling pressure, sell down. And so if I get short here, there's not a lot of, there's some good price targets, obviously down to there. But you catch puts here at the top, like that's going to pay nice even a weekly. Okay. You get in 10 of them, you sell 8, fine. We break under, now what? Or option 2, if you want to get short, so you don't catch this move. Opening range is set. Here, we break down the opening range, we push up. That's an easy short, okay? Easy short there. And then you ride all that price action down here, this recent price action. But break over, get long, play the bounce. Easily day tradable. This move's really nice. This page really nice if you catch some nice moves. But yeah. 1K, would you go short on Exxon with the conflict? And that's tough, Norman, because the news broke out. What day was that in the Middle East? This had to have been this day. The 1st. Was that when they got Middle East news that Iran, like they shot those rockets? That was this day, I think. And so it's hard because you'd have to think, it's going to affect prices, in the Middle East, revolving oil and stuff like that. So this is a tough name to trade. I definitely would not swing XLE, Exxon, Chevron, stuff like that. But for me, if you see a setup, I would definitely day trade it. Norman, I wouldn't short, I don't know how to play the news reaction to that. I mean, we've seen the reaction when the bombing occurred. And so it's tough. For me, I would just keep your stops tight, realistic, and just day trade whatever it gives you. If I see, again, same thing, you guys, consolidation, all-time highs, and market wants to get weak, XLE's leading the name, leading the sector, get short underneath here, stay short. All right, guys, I think I need to end it there. We are 20 minutes over. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you guys took some notes. My DMs are always open. Just send me a DM. Say, hey, you went over this too quick. I didn't understand, or we didn't get to this, or can you explain this? Send me a DM, you guys. I'm always willing to help those that want to help. But again, take things slow. It's Monday. Let's not dive into stuff too quick. Let's trade smart, you guys. Let's have a great week. I appreciate you guys all sticking around, and talk to you all tomorrow. Later.